I'm gonna be honest, I had no idea that these even came out. What's up everybody, I'm Seth Fowler, and today I'm reviewing a brand new pair of Yeezys that not many people know about.
Perfect.
The Yeezy 350 V2 Marsh released exclusively on YEEZYsupply.com for the retail price of $220. It didn't release anywhere else, it didn't get any in-store releases, it was only on YEEZYsupply.com. So it kind of seems like, unless they decide to restock the sneaker in a couple months, that this is one of the most limited 350s to ever drop. And yet for some reason, the resale price of this sneaker is like maybe $300. I bought this pair at Flight Club for $300. And in fact, if you decide to grab a pair of these for yourself, I've got them linked through the GOAT app in the description below. What surprised me most about this sneaker, especially when I finally got it in hand, was how much I actually liked it. Because when I saw the shoe online, I wasn't a huge fan. I just thought like, okay, another McChicken. Like, I don't need that. Seeing it now, it's like, okay, I can get down in the marsh. What the hell? Regardless, I think it's a nice colorway and I was really surprised by how much I liked it. And something else that I was also kind of surprised by about the Marsh colorway is that they've actually changed up the construction of the sneaker. Not by a huge amount, but they've made some small changes that actually make a pretty big difference. So jumping right into the sneaker, the first thing that you'll find is this sort of like mustard green or maybe marsh green primeknit upper, which is a color that I didn't know how I was gonna feel about it online. And now that I have it in hand, it's kind of subtle, it's kind of clean. I like it. Unlike some of the more recent 350 V2s, the entire upper of the shoe comes in the same shade of green. And especially if you move to the medial side of the sneaker, you'll notice that there isn't any color variation in the primeknit whatsoever. However, the actual knit pattern of the shoe is exactly the same, so the areas that are textured remain textured, but there isn't anything else to differentiate the different panels of the shoe. Another detail that I just didn't know about until I got the shoe in hand is that the stitching that runs down the center of the shoe is no longer exposed. On the previous iterations of the sneaker, you had some X stitching that sort of overlap this seam. Now all the stitching is inverted, so it's all on the inside of the shoe and it's covered up with a piece of tape or something like that just to keep the stitching from fraying. So because of that, running down the center of the shoe, you just have a plain and simple straight line. Then moving up on the shoe, you get to your standard 350 V2 rope laces, except this time they come in a solid green like the rest of the upper with no 3M accents. Then running down the entire lateral side of the sneaker, you've got your standard 350 V2 stripe, except unlike any of the previous pairs, it's not semi-translucent plastic. It's actually all 3M. I love this detail. This is such a solid change and I wish they had done this sooner. No, you can't really see the color of your socks through the side of the sneaker anymore, so you can't like change up the colorway of the sneaker by wearing red socks or green socks or something like that, but in my opinion, this pops so much more. In standard lighting like this, it just kind of looks like maybe a semi-gloss metallic silver stripe or something like that, but when you hit this with the flash, it really shines. It's crazy. I just really love this stripe. It's such a nice touch, and in my opinion, it makes the shoe. It makes this colorway for me. I also really like how this stripe is woven into the primeknit upper, so you get sort of a fade-out effect along the sides of the stripe. I think that's such a cool look. Then up around the top of the ankle area, you get another pretty big departure from any of the previous Yeezy colorways with this sort of pop of mustard orange. Honestly, this was a detail that I thought that I would dislike the most, and now that I see it in person, it actually works really well with this sort of green or light green upper. I'm really surprised by how much I like this shoe. I'm not in love with it, let me clear that up, but I still like it a lot more than I ever thought that I would. Then moving inside the sneaker, the color spills over from the piping into the sock liner. On the back of the heel, you've still got the Adidas 3M3 stripes, and the insole of the shoe comes in a matching mustard orange, with the text also coming in that same color, which means you can't really see it that well. As for sizing, the 350 V2 Marsh fits just like every other pair of 350 V2s. For a lot of people, that means going up half a size because it can be a little bit small. So for example, if you wear a size 9, maybe grab a size 9.5 instead, or if you have a bunch of pairs of 350 V2s and you get them true to size and you like that size, there's nothing wrong with that either. But as I always suggest, because everyone's feet are different, if you have the chance to try the shoe on first before you buy it, make sure to do that to make sure you're grabbing the right size for you. Moving around to the heel of the shoe, like some of the more recent 350 V2s, we don't have a heel pull tab. And then the 3M stripe continues onto the medial side a little bit and ends pretty abruptly. I have no idea why they stopped sort of fading out that stripe like they did on some of the previous pairs. It just doesn't really make sense to me. Then continuing down on the sneaker, you get to a semi-translucent midsole that shows off the full-length boost. The sides of the midsole come in the same sort of green as the rest of the upper, but a slightly lighter shade. Then on the toe and on the heel of the shoe, you'll notice that the rubber that wraps up from the outsole is actually a slightly lighter shade of green. In fact, now that I'm looking at it, it might not be green at all. It might be some sort of like light cream. I don't know, it sort of has a green tinge to it. I don't know what to call it, but it's a lighter color than the rest of the midsole. And then finally moving to the bottom of the shoe, you've got more of that lighter colored rubber with cut-throughs to the boost. I was really surprised by the 350 V2 Marsh. I love the changes that are made on the shoe, and I'm pretty into the colorway. Now, it might not be a colorway that I would wear every day, or even a shoe that I even end up keeping, but it's a sneaker that I genuinely like more than I thought, and I think some of the changes really make a big difference. If you missed out on the 350 V2 Marshes through Yeezy Supply, you can grab these for resale for pretty decent prices. Like I said, through GOAT, you can grab them right now for 300 bucks. Is it worth it? That's up to you. It really depends on if you like the changes and if you like the colorway. Other than that, it's kind of just a standard 350 V2. But with that, we wrap up the video for today, and now I would love to know your thoughts on the 350 V2 Marsh and whether you grabbed a pair when they released or whether you plan to grab a pair. So let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.